Yeah, I'm just here. This video is about realizing and coming to terms to myself, my whole family are narcissists. Last year, I started watching videos from the dove.org. They have a YouTube channel, and I specifically like their playlist with Patrick Doyle, and Patrick Doyle usually talks about toxic relationships and putting boundaries and things like that. He really shares what he knows as a Christian counselor, the skills and tools that we can use to protect ourselves and to have healthier relationships and having boundaries. So I was watching those videos, and one thing that I started applying in my life was saying no to toxic people and risking it, like risking the relationship and not being afraid of confrontation. I was gonna share that I had a confrontation last year. My dad was home and he wanted to talk to me. He kept asking me if we could talk. At the time, I said no. But I was telling him that maybe next time, or it's really late. Maybe we could talk next time because I'm tired. It was around 12 midnight, and my bedroom was like right. Yeah, I still live with my parents. So my bedroom is right beside their room, and I remember when I was coming back to my bedroom from the kitchen, downstairs, when I was about to go to my bedroom, I saw that his door in his bedroom was open, and I could see him lying in the bedroom in his bed, and he was just waiting for me to pass by. And so by the time I reached the door, he immediately got up and went to the door, and but I was saying no, and he couldn't accept that. He couldn't let me be inside my bedroom, and I kept telling him no and next time, and I'm really tired. And what happened was he started shoving me. It went to a point that he started pushing me, and he was shoving me. And thank God he didn't do anything worse than that. But in my head, I was praying. And calling upon the name of Jesus, and I just kept saying, Jesus, just please protect me. But he was I still didn't want to talk, and the more I said no, the more he got really. It really kind of looked like a child tantrum in an old man, and he started pushing me, and he started being more violent in his words, like, I'll be the first person to ever hit you or punch you before anyone else. He was making that clear, and he kept repeating that. I told him that I wasn't gonna talk to him because he wasn't calm. I told him that I was gonna talk to my mom instead. If he really wants to talk, I'm going to talk to my mom. And my mom went upstairs, and she pretty much didn't do anything. She didn't do anything to stop it. She didn't do anything to neutralize the situation. And actually, I had a gut feeling that she even wanted it to happen. My dad started throwing things. He started throwing my stuff in my bedroom. He started breaking my stuff. And then he wanted to confiscate my bedroom keys because he started get pissed that I've been locking my doors whenever I leave the house, or whenever I'm inside my room I lock my door. Take note that I'm already 27, and yes, I am still at home, and that's a subject for another day. But yes, I am working towards moving out. So last year, that's what happened. He was throwing my stuff and he was breaking things, and he was trying to confiscate my stuff, my keys, and I didn't want to give it. I think I was just frozen there trying to pray in my head that God would protect me. I have 2 bedrooms that I use. I have this one bedroom that I sleep at, and this one bedroom that I use. It's actually a guest bedroom, but I use that to do work, like an office, like a study. And at the time when he was throwing stuff and now enraged, that bedroom was locked. And he started blaming the locking of bedroom things. And what happened was, I think I was able to get out of my bedroom, because when I got a chance, I ran towards my parents' bedroom where my mom was. I think I was asking for her help. Honestly, I think she didn't want to help me. He was banging real hard, like, when police people are about to do a raid on a drug addict's house, and they bang their bodies against the door so that they could open the house. That's what he kept repeatedly doing. Like, he was really banging his body against the door to open, in an attempt to open a locked door. And he kept doing that, like, for almost an hour. Like, it was scary. He was trying to be scary. He was doing it. And then my mom just said, like, just give him the keys. And honestly, I don't know up to this point why he was going crazy for the keys. It's not like I'm hiding something in there. I guess the fact that it's just the doors were locked, that pisses him off. I have no idea, but maybe he hates other people's privacy. I have no idea, but he was banging his body against the door, and like, he was like flying in the air, jumping in the air against the door to open it repeatedly. And I gave him the keys just to put an end to whatever it is going on. And he opened it, and he did nothing when the door was open. That was it. And I have no idea until to this day what was that all about. And I just remembered I sat at the living room. There was a small living room near my room and my parents' room, and I just sat at the sofa there. My dad still was trying to have this conversation with me, and I was still trying to respond calmly and be mature. And I was trying at that point to tell him that you shouldn't do this, that I was still trying to talk to him like a normal human being, and nothing was getting through. He wasn't listening to what I was saying, and he just kept going on with what he wants to say, and his own drama that I don't understand. And at that point, it clicked in him that, oh my goodness, he really is a narcissist. He wasn't listening. There's no real issue here. It's just really freaking drama. I stopped saying what I wanted to say. I stopped telling them what's in my mind and what's in my head, and then he started, like, I just stopped talking, and then I just sat there and I stopped talking. I stopped defending myself. I stopped trying to reason. Yeah, that's the term. I stopped trying to reason with him. I just stopped, and I just shut up. Even though in my head I was praying for protection, and in my head I wasn't about to believe whatever he was that was coming out of his mouth. I wasn't buying it. But I remember him, like, have this face of admiration for me when I started shutting up. And he stopped the rage. He stopped throwing my stuff. He stopped breaking my things. He stopped slamming his body against the door. And he started talking. And I remember everything that he was saying was such utter lies and such brainwashing. And he was making me believe that I was at fault, that everything, all that confrontation was my fault, that I was wrong, that my job was wrong, my choices in life was wrong, what time I woke up was wrong, my attitude in life was wrong. And I was just I just was quiet the entire freaking time. I stopped reasoning. And then, but I also wasn't pacifying him. I wasn't people pleasing him, but I was just, I'm done and I'm not gonna reason with this person anymore. And he just kept yada kept talking. And then I remember him saying something like, I am a changed person now. I'm not like before. I'm a changed person now. And that thing, when he said that, it was just so funny. Like, few minutes ago you were throwing my stuff and shoving me, and now you're telling me you're a changed person and that I'm supposed to believe you. And he was just trying so hard to make me think everything changed, that I should just trust him, and that I should just believe everything he's saying. And then he started sitting beside me and put his arm around me. Like, we had this awesome moment, like we had this bonding moment that just happened. And he started giving me like, yeah, so from now on, you wake up in the morning and we're gonna help you with your job. And how about your meds? Are you taking your meds? And like, yeah, because I have to take I have anemia, so I have to take some vitamins and supplements. And that's what I was talking about, like, are you taking your meds? Let's help each other. And then it just so weird. In my head it was so weird, but I was just like, I'm not, I feel like I became a rock just sitting there. And when I just sat there, my mom was watching. And it was around about 3 a.m. and my sister and her family arrived home. And yes, they still live here. She brought her husband and kid in this house. and she is also narcissistic. That's a story and a video for another day. So yeah, that was I think a Sunday night. She and my sister and her family started arriving, and what my dad did, he called my sister upstairs because her bedroom was downstairs and with her family. So he had my sister be summoned upstairs, and you know what he did? He made me apologize to my mother and to my sister, and that wasn't enough. He made me come to my mother and my sister to hug them, like as if everything in life was my fault. And I'm just like in my head, that was all so sick and logic out the window. He started the chaos, he started the rage. I was calm the entire time. The only thing in that moment was that I said no. I said I was tired. I said I can talk next time, and if I really have to talk, I will talk to mom because you're not calm. That's really everything that came on my part. And I was even telling him, because at that time I was still following Bible's commanded to honor your father and mother. So even like throughout his rage, I remained respectful in my words. I would tell him, with all due respect, but I know, I'm not gonna talk like this, blah blah blah. But I was still very calm, still very polite, and I knew for a fact that at that moment, because I was already trying to educate myself, I knew in my head I did completely nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with what I've done, but on the outside, my dad was really framing it that it was my fault. He was talking nonstop and coming up with like reasons why it was my fault, and he was even comforting me because it was my fault. You know what I mean? Like, in my head, none of what happened there was my fault at all, and I was telling that to myself in my head while all this was playing out on the outside. And I think he was really trying to brainwash my head. And yeah, I think the most ugliest thing that I want to take a shower for is that I just apologized to my mother and sister and said sorry to them and hugged them for no freaking reason, just to end the freaking show. And I remember when I went back to my bedroom, I just said, I think I just said, okay, are we done? And then I picked up my stuff that was on the floor and then went to my room. And I said in my head, this is a lot of bullcrap. This is so wrong. And I remember when I was on the way to my room, my dad was even asking my mom and my sister, what else? You have more to say to her? Like, like as if I was this someone to court and to be labeled and brainwashed as someone at fault for everything else wrong and with whatever it is they think is wrong. And he was even like, I was already on the way to my bedroom, and he was asking my mom and my sister they have more to say about me. But yeah, they were just silent at the time, and I think that was around November, January. He left the country. My dad left the country because he works abroad, and I thought at that time it was only my dad who is a narcissist, so I started working towards leaving the house. But for some reason, I couldn't get a job, and that's when because something dramatic still always happens at home, even though it's not as violent and overt as my dad's ways. And that's when I started really looking at my situation and realizing that even my sister and my mother, who are really trying so hard for me not to be able to work, they really are sabotaging it. But at the end of it, I realized that my own mother and my sister are not for me. They are narcissistic also, and they do seek my hurt. And I've attempted so many times to find a way to move out, but it has been a struggle. And if you also know this, and if you have a similar situation, I think you know what I mean. And it's no joke to get out. And but I think now that I think it starts by really acknowledging 100% and letting it go, and just letting go of responsibility and giving up trying to make it work, and start from there. Just, you know what, this is a narcissistic house. They are narcissists, and they just want supply, and it's not my responsibility, it's not my fault, and I'm not gonna try to make it work anymore or fix this, because I can't. That's where I am right now. And honestly, I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit tired from constantly trying to pick myself up and get on with life. And I think that as long as I have them in my life, I'd always have to rebuild what I have, the good things that I think. It's like I build a castle, and as long as I have them, I always find myself going back to zero, and I always find myself with the shattered pieces, and I don't want to live that way anymore. And I think I'm at the point where I'm really preparing myself and my heart to live my life without them. Yeah, that's my story. And most support groups, I've tried joining Facebook support groups, and most of them would suggest that I go to a shelter right away. But I live in a third world country, and I mean, maybe in America or UK, they have decent shelters when you go. That's really not the case here, and it's actually sometimes dangerous to go. And shelters doesn't really function as well, and it's just really it's a poor country, and government support are not really existent, and if there is, it's just really crap. I think even those who are in desperate situations don't go there. So yeah, that's where I am right now. That's at the end of the day, I'm still holding on to the Lord. I may not understand sometimes, but actually sometimes I just feel like I'm at the end of my rope, and that I don't know how to go on another day. And sometimes I just feel like I dread waking up in the morning because I'm just so sick. I'm sick of having them in my life. Like, they just have this desperate need of just getting them out of my life. I'm just so done. I'm so done. I hope that we can all just strive for a better life together and hold on and be strong. One thing that I can take away from this is that it really helps to learn boundaries and to educate ourselves what is toxic, what is healthy, what is unacceptable, what is abuse, what is emotional abuse, what is verbal abuse, psychological abuse. It really is helpful, and I'm already starting to drop friends that have personality issues, people that don't respect boundaries, people that don't honor them, and yeah, that's where I am right now.